channel, we talk about the multi-dimensional approach to rapidly and radically healing and transforming during and after narcissistic abuse. And I wanted to make this video, and I'm testing out doing things live because I think it could be fun, on should you go no contact, right? That's a big question for anyone dealing with a narcissist, right? And sometimes you have no choice, right? Could be your boss, could be a family member, could be a situation where you don't feel like you can go no contact, right? So my work is for anyone. I don't teach people they have to go no contact like a lot of coaches do, because I understand, say hi when you're on and where you're from. I'm trying out going live a bit more because I think it's going to be a bit more fun. But like, I'm talking about when you're with a narcissist or anyone that's toxic, should you go no contact, right? Because a lot of coaches will tell you have to. I don't believe that. I don't believe you have to. I believe that your life and your choices are your decision. But what I can give you are tools and strategies to use so that you're very resilient to the abuse, right? So it doesn't affect you. What I care about is our quality of life, right? Primarily, I'm a life and relationship coach. So primarily, I care about our quality of life. Claudia, oh my gosh, hi. Right. Oh, it's so good to see you. I am so hot, right? Because I've been wearing a very big fur. It's freezing here, but I've been wearing this big fur coat. Half a cow. It's not a real cow, by the way. I'm very for the environment, for the animals. But like, I've been wearing this because it was so cold today, and now I am so hot because I just got back from lunch with my little doggy. But I'm talking about this thing about should you go no contact, because there's a lot of like coaches that will teach you have to go no contact. I don't believe that. I believe you are the best like person to judge this situation, right? But what I can give you is tools so that if you don't go no contact, you're resilient. What I care about is our quality of life, right? And when you're around a narcissist, they're constantly programming your subconscious mind. They're constantly eroding your self-worth. Hi, John. Hello. Where are you from? Say where you're from. So the thing is, it's very difficult to be around toxic people and narcissists without it impacting you. What matters is not what's happening outside. It doesn't matter. What matters is what's happening inside and its impact on you. So using the things I teach, right, you can limit the impact on you. Leslie, hello. Oh my God, hi. Hi, guys. Do you think this is fun? I think going live might be more fun because like when I make videos on YouTube, right, I'm talking at you and I want to talk with you. I love your hair. Thank you. Do you know I've grown it? I actually had it cut recently and it feels really short because it was like halfway down my back. By the way, if you want to grow your hair, guys, biotin. I've been taking biotin capsules and they really grow your hair. The West Midlands. Oh, you're UK. I'm in the UK too, John. So should you go no contact? Sometimes you don't feel like you can. And, you know, a lot of the information out there makes you feel like a failure because you think if I can't go no contact, if I can't stop ruminating, if I can't stop getting upset about it, there's something wrong with me. And there's not. You're in the UK too. Oh, hi, Leslie. UK in the house. I wore half a cow today. I just went and had my Sunday roast and I'm roasting myself because I wore like such warm clothes because it's been so cold here. I'm not used to the climate still. UK 3. Hi, T Fuller. Hello. Oh my gosh, so many UK people. Sorry to be rude, but it's not. Oh, sorry, Lacey. You know what that is? It's my eyesight. Lacey. You're not being rude. I was rude to call you the wrong name. Thank you for correcting me, Lacey. My eyesight isn't that great. I do wear glasses when I read. But thank you for telling me that, because I appreciate it. And that's another thing that I teach, you know, like we should stand up for ourselves. Like even on little things like that, it's so important because we matter. And when you're with a narcissist, you're constantly like, you wear glasses, yeah. I don't know where mine are, otherwise I'd have put them on. But I just felt really inspired just to come on and connect because I had a really bad cold for the last 2 weeks. Twinnies, yeah. I had a really bad cold, right? I don't know if you guys have had it too, if you're in the UK, but like it put me out for 2 weeks. Like I haven't made my YouTube videos. I haven't done like, I just was sick. So I just let it run its course. I'm very rarely sick like that, but I did get sick. Now I'm boiling hot. I often get sweaty on my videos. It's just part of it. I'm a human. My stepsister has a cold too. Yeah, everyone I know's got it. And it's kind of a bit kick-ass. Like it kicked my butt a bit for a couple of weeks. So I just didn't really get on with my stuff. I'll tell you what it was. This is not to do with the video, but like it's the cough. I had a really bad cough. That's why I couldn't come on, because I spoke to one of my clients and I was coughing all through the call. And so I thought, well, it's not worth me. Wondered what happened to me. Yeah, I got sick, John. It was the cough that was the worst thing, because I couldn't stop coughing. She won't stop sneezing and she can't breathe in the night, but she can at the same time. Yeah. Do you know what I mean there? Yeah. Yeah. I could stop. I didn't sneeze so much. I just had this really bad cough. I tell you how bad it was. And it's so unusual for me because I'm pretty good at healing myself. Like I was being sick in the mornings. That's how bad the cough was, because I'd cough and it would hit the back of my throat and I'd throw up. So it was a pretty bad, it takes a lot to take some of us down, right? It took me down. I'm going to fan myself, I think, because I'm getting too sweaty. Do you know? Yeah. What do you guys think, right, about the question of, I've subscribed and liked. Thank you, Leslie. I appreciate you so much. I love you guys. I'm going to do more live because I want to interact. I don't want to just like talk at a camera, and I don't want to just tell you things you already know about narcissists. I really want to do stuff that matters and just like stuff that connects us. But like the thing of people telling you if it's a toxic person or a narcissist, you should just go no contact. That's not practical for a lot of people, right? So I feel like that's not always the answer. I think the answer is like, if you can know yourself enough, right, not to let anyone, and this is not very easy for us as human beings, especially as empaths, people who actually care, because like people say you shouldn't care what other people think. I don't think that's a healthy thing to teach people, right? I really care about what people think. Maybe a bit too much. I might be on the other side of the spectrum, but I think it's good that I care about what people think, because it makes me conscientious. It makes me actually like empathetic. I don't think it's healthy for us just to, I don't care what you think, I'm just going to do what I want. That's like a narcissistic attitude, right? So, and I don't think a lot of empathetic people are capable of just not caring what people think. That's just not normal, right? We're born to care what people think because we're born to be tribal. What I've really noticed since coming back to the UK is lack of community. Like we're meant to be in communities and it's missing in our culture and society. And so like so many of us, if you've been through narcissistic abuse, you got isolated, right? But so many of us are isolated anyway. We've stopped doing things that like make us a community, and not caring what people think just alienates you from other people. We should care what each other thinks, but we shouldn't let it affect us in negative ways. That's the difference. But we don't want to become narcissistic and just be like, I don't care what you think, I know best, you know, fuck you all. That's not it. What's it is, I'm going to have to be true to myself no matter what. Right? So I'm going to be in tune with myself so that if I'm feeling this is off, I'm going to be honest about it. I'm going to try and work it out with you if I can, but I'm going to also notice that if it's not possible to work it out, then I'm going to walk away if I need to. But walking away is the last possible result, right? We don't want to just be throwing people away in case they're a narcissist or because we can't regulate our own emotions. That's quite a big thing to say, right? That's probably against what most of the teachings out there say. But I am really sick of a culture that is just like trashing people. That the hardest part of a narcissistically abusive cycle is the discard, that the narcissist will throw you away like a piece of trash. Now, if you're with a narcissist, it is better that you get away from them. It always is. There's no doubt about it. Like, it's better that you limit your exposure to them because they're so toxic, they'll get to you at some point. But for other people, but we have got a culture at the same time of people that are just, the minute someone does something that you don't like, we just throwing people away, and that's not right. Yeah, you're right, John. You're right. If it's a full-blown narcissist, stay clear. If you can go no contact, go no contact. These people will affect you. They're really, really good at what they do. Really good. And so, like, it's impossible to be around someone that's constantly devaluing you and putting you down and putting you on an emotional roller coaster without being affected. Like, we're not built for psychological warfare unless you go to, like, I don't know, be trained in some kind of like I don't know if I can say it on the internet, but FBI type thing, so that you're trained for psychological warfare, you're not going to do well with a narcissist, especially if you're highly sensitive or highly empathetic. I'm highly sensitive and highly empathetic. So for me, it's a disaster. I can't have them in my life. I can't at all. The only way to look after myself is to say no, is for me to go no contact completely. But for other people, you know, that might not be the choice. They might be looking after an elderly parent. They might even be in a marriage that they don't actually want to get out of. So I think the biggest thing is trusting ourselves, you know, like this is your choice. Yeah. What you get to get is tools and strategies and ways to cope. But what you don't want to do is lose yourself, because that's what goes wrong most of the time with narcissists and toxic people, is we lose ourselves, right? We don't know who we are anymore. We're now like living a narrative that's not our own, and we're being treated in a way that is not right. Yeah. And if you're treated in a way that's like constantly degrading, constantly devaluing you, you're going to start losing your self-esteem. Yeah. Just slowly over time. There's a metaphor, and it's a true thing. Like if you tried to put a frog in boiling water, it would jump out immediately. But if you put a frog in cold water and just keep turning it up slowly over time, it will boil to death. It won't jump out. That's what happens in narcissistic relationships. When a female malignant was with a female malignant for a decade on and off, and finally disappeared completely, yeah, it takes a long time. Why does it take a long time? Because these relationships are sticky, right? It's not just abuse. Abuse is never just abuse. It's always like there's some good parts of it. And there's often some part of this person that we love. My dad was a terrible narcissist. He treated me in terrible ways, but he had a fantastic sense of humor. And, you know, I still miss him now. I miss him, but I know he's unhealthy for me. Do you know what I mean? My ex, I loved my ex. I absolutely loved him. There were some qualities in him that like I really loved. But he was also a covert malignant narcissist that I had to get away from just to save myself. Right? So like it's not black and white. And if you can limit your exposure, tolerate it and not let it get to you, there are certain circumstances where you don't have to just run away, right? So like it's not a blanket rule of like you have to go no consent, because in some people's lives going no consent could be more damaging. It's like, what is more damaging to you, to be in the relationship in some way or to go no contact? You've got to look at like what's the most damaging thing. But people teaching that you have to go no contact or you haven't succeeded and you'll never heal, that is a lie. That's a complete bullshit lie. And I don't like the coaches that are like that, because I feel like this is a very complicated dynamic and it takes a lot of work for us to go no contact a lot of the time. Finally broke the trauma bond. Yes, John, celebrating you. Yeah, and it can take a minute. It can take a while. This is like one of the biggest challenges we might ever go through is narcissistic abuse and actually breaking free and actually regaining self-esteem, self-confidence, maybe a sense of identity that we might have never had, you know, like in a way that we may never have had it before. So like, we've got to give ourselves a lot of credit, because like most people don't have to deal with things that are this intense. This is a really intense dynamic. It's a really intense relationship. It's psychological warfare and spiritual warfare, right? So people sometimes might judge you and think, well, you should just cut that person off, and not understand how difficult that is when you're in a narcissistically abusive relationship. It's very difficult. It's not just like, oh, you're bad, goodbye. There's a lot of emotion involved. There's a lot of feelings involved. There's a lot of connection involved. There's a lot of love bombing there's a lot of shared fantasy involved, right? The shared fantasy of who they pretend to be sometimes, that person that hoovered you and love bombs you, right? That they're really not. But congratulations, John, on breaking free. But, you know, it's not like you're less than if you haven't broken free yet. You're on an evolution journey. You're on a spiritual evolution journey. You're coming home to yourself, right? All of us. So it's kind of like wherever you are in this process, right? Just honor your stage in the process and be true to yourself. If it's so for some of the time in my process with my ex, it wasn't true to me to leave. So I didn't until it was time. Because if I'd have broken away any sooner, I wasn't ready for that move yet. It would have been more harmful for me, more traumatic for me to have done it before I was ready, right? So there's a timing on everything. But the more we feed our soul, the more we educate ourselves, the more we like evolve ourselves and learn how to like come back into our values, boundaries, standards, and all that kind of stuff, the easier it is, the more natural it is, the more obvious it is just to break away. So I'd say the time to break away is like when it's a no-brainer. When it's like, I mean, I've got people in my course Sovereign, right, where they just said like, you know, their divorce was just like, and their separation, it just was natural, like at that point. So you don't do it before it's natural. It's like with addictions. It's like if you try and fight yourself and use willpower, you're going to run out of willpower. But if you keep evolving yourself, keep working on yourself, keep doing what I teach people, like keep listening, keep elevating your consciousness, then there'll become a time when you don't have to fight yourself to do it. You're not fighting against your mind. You're just like, it's just the natural thing to do. And that's the right time, when it's easy, when it's effortless, when it might be challenging because you might have financial things to deal with or children to deal with, or, you know, there could be lots of complications. But at the same time, it's just the next right step. And it feels like the next right step. And I don't advise people to do it before it's the next right step, before they know it themselves. I don't push them into it. I don't bully them into it. I don't shame them into it, like I see a lot of coaches on the internet doing, where they shame you if you haven't got no contact. You know, you can't be. I've had that. A client has said to me that a coach told her, if you don't go no contact, you can't be part of my group. That I think is terrible. Yeah, you have to go through the healing, exactly, the healing process in slow time. Very true. Thanks, John. Exactly. And like, you shouldn't be shamed in that process wherever you are, right? Because if you're listening to anything like this, you're already waking up, you're already doing the work, you're already like on the path, right? So it's kind of like, why be shamed into it? Anything you do out of fear never feels good. Fear of being shamed, fear of not ever being able to break free, fear of what it means that you can't go no contact. That never feels good. What feels good is, I've done enough healing on myself. I've got enough clarity now, enough confidence in myself. I know who I am. I know my values. I know my boundaries. And this just doesn't sit right with me, this relationship or whatever. So now I know what to do in it. And this is a personal thing. Sometimes the right thing to do is put space in between you. Sometimes the right thing to do is put boundaries in. Sometimes the right thing to do is no contact, right? But you've got to be at the point of your path where that is the next right step. When I left my ex, I said, I want nothing to do with you. I need nothing from you. That wasn't true in the practical sense, because financially we were completely enmeshed. I just spent like loads more money on investing in a place for us to live and all these joint commitments that now I'm going to have to get out of, right? Because he was a narcissist and I think I was trying to make it work so much. Do you know what I mean? At the end, that I think I even actually sabotaged myself by going over the top in the financial, just trying to hang on to the relationship. And I knew it wasn't right when I did it, and it wasn't right. Hello, my love. Right, if I get your name wrong, forgive me, but I haven't got my glasses on. What if the covert narcissist is deceased? Is the trauma bond over? Not necessarily. Or is it still living? Right, so just because the narcissist has deceased, it does not mean the trauma bond's gone. So what I want you to do, I'm going to give you some moves, right? It's going to seem really strange, but like, you've got to think about, like, in the Eastern cultures, they understand body, breath, movement. That's one move. So when he comes into your mind, say no consent in the psychic realm. So people can still, even when they've passed, have an attachment to you psychically. Narcissistic abuse is a spiritual warfare. It's not just a physical one, right? They have a hold on you in the spiritual realm. So you have to say no consent psychically. No consent. As soon as he comes into your mind, and you can push your arms out like that, that's one thing, just to like release your energy from it, right? Just cutting cords doesn't always work for people, but no consent, because people like, this sounds really weird, but like spiritually, people can still be siphoning your energy from you, even when they've passed, right? Because there's still like an active consciousness to it. So what you want to do is break the psychic ties. I've got some videos on breaking psychic ties. I can do way more on it if you want me to. So like, you've got to break the psychic ties. It's for aliens. Well, I mean, narcissists are kind of like aliens, but they're not actually aliens. What they are is soul detached. They're not attached to their soul, which is why they have no empathy and no emotional capacity. They've got no compassion, no regret, no remorse. I disagree with every psychiatrist saying that they are secretly living in shame. They don't have any shame. Look at what they do and how they do it over and over again. Look, guys, we've got to get this clear because there's so much bullshit on the internet, right? People project empathy on narcissists because they don't understand them. So they say that it's coming from a deep insecurity and shame. It's not. They're missing the spiritual point. The spiritual point is they're soul detached, right? Which means they don't have that shame. They've got no guilt, no remorse. If someone was ashamed, they wouldn't keep doing the same thing over and over again. They will do the same thing over and over again and even smirk while they do it. That is not someone who is in shame. It's not. The psychiatry world is trying to understand something from a human standpoint, right? From a standpoint of people that are like us. They're not like us, so they are kind of aliens. I'm not going to answer that question about the orgasms. I don't know much about aliens. Do the mother-in-law leaves you alone if you and her son are broken up? It depends on the mother-in-law. Good answer. Thanks, John. We could talk about aliens and orgasms because that's one of the questions that have come up, but I don't think that's probably in alignment, right? And I know nothing about aliens, and I hope they have wonderful orgasms. We all deserve great orgasms, guys, but like that's not quite what we're talking about. So the mother-in-law can have a trauma bond on you as well. Like she could be a narcissist. But again, just say no consent. Every time they come into your mind, say no consent. Take your energy back. So you've got an aura. It's 6 foot outside of your body, right? You can push it out with swimming hands. Like imagine you pushing your energy out, your aura out, take up space. And just imagine yourself saying no consent to anyone you don't want energetic connection with. It's very common after people are deceased for you still to be ruminating about them because you've got unresolved issues, right? I did a video on unresolved issues because stuff hasn't been resolved and humans want closure. We want, because we love each other, really, in our hearts, we love each other. We want connection, and connection comes from understanding, and understanding each other comes from talking and sort of reconciling our differences, getting each other's point of view. With a narcissist, you never get that. So even after they pass and they're deceased, right, you will never have got that closure. That's some of the hardest things for people to deal with, right? You won't get that closure when the narcissist discards you. They'll just leave your life and throw you away like a piece of trash. You won't get that closure if they pass away, right? So we have to kind of learn how to give ourselves that closure. And that comes from taking our energy back from the situation, reconciling it ourselves, right? Kind of understanding that you can't force forgiveness. I don't teach forcing forgiveness, but I do teach that forgiveness is a natural side effect because forgiveness is just letting go. You kind of give it all over. You could give it all over to God. Like just give it all over to a higher power. Give it all over to source. Give it all over to God. You have to give it up. I give up trying to understand this. This is something that's spiritual beyond my understanding because a lot of what goes on in these dynamics is spiritual beyond our understanding, right? So I just give it up. I just let go of it all. That's what forgiveness really is letting go of it all. I hand it over. I make peace with it. I accept it happened. Because a lot of the time, like what I teach in my course Sovereign is like a lot of the time that stops us forgiving and letting go is resentment, right? We resent it. Why do we resent it? Because we feel like our life would have been better, right? Which is right if it had never happened to us. What I kind of say on that is you don't know what your life would have been like if it never happened to you. But I do believe in God and a higher power. And I do believe that it wouldn't have been allowed to have happened if it hadn't have got some purpose in your life. It was somehow I don't think we need it for evolution. I don't. I think narcissists should be completely like, we need to wake up to the whole thing and not tolerate it. I've got zero tolerance for it whatsoever. And as soon as more people have got no tolerance to it, it will not exist on this planet. And I'm really for that. But I think starve the narcissists of supply, completely starve them of supply, and they'll have to have a spiritual awakening and it won't happen anymore. But in order for us to let go, we have to accept what happened to us. We have to accept where we are in life, right? We have to accept they are what they are and be willing just to let it all go. Let it all go. Release it all. We all could think it, you know. I spent my childbearing years, like my best childbearing years, with narcissists. I never had children. I could blame them and say, you know, I'm just going to give you examples of how like this has affected my life, right? So I could be really angry about that. And I have had thoughts like that where I could say, well, you know, they stole the best years of my life. They stole my youth. They stole my childbearing years. And like, you know, there's so much resentment we can hold for it. So when I teach things, it's because I understand them. Do you know what I mean? I've had to let go of a lot of resentment. I've had to let go of a lot of anger and grief. I teach grief. I teach how you can accelerate grief and the process because your emotions are real and relevant. They matter. I know I had a lot and it looks like they gained. Absolutely. I lost everything because of narcissists. I lost my business. I lost the country I moved to. I lost everything, you know, and it's just like, whew. And I was left out in the cold, really. But what I didn't lose was myself. And it's me that built all that. It's me that can build it again. And that isn't great consolation for when you've gone through devastating things. And I think we have to understand that in this cycle, we've been through, a lot of us, not all of us, but a lot of us have been through devastation. I have. I've been made homeless over it. I've lost all my belongings over it. I've lost every dream I had over it. You know, I had to like move and, you know, leave the things I loved. But my awareness is better now, right? I don't think anyone should have to go through that, which is why I teach on it, because I want as many people as possible not to have to go through that. Hi, hello, Groundhog Jam Band, love it. I never had any thoughts of revenge, just move forward. That's so beautiful, John. Do you know, most of the people that come on my channel, like you, John, have got such big hearts. Honestly, this is what inspires me the most, is the people who have been through the worst and shittiest stuff, right, have the biggest hearts. And that's why I also get annoyed when there are people on the internet saying that narcissism is caused by trauma. It's not. The people that come here are sometimes the most traumatized. They've had the hardest fucking time. Right? And they're the nicest, kindest people. I also didn't want revenge. I just wanted to move on with my life, right? But to be honest, that's not normal. Like most humans haven't got that kind of capacity. You have to be a very empathetic person not to want revenge, right? And there are times when narcissists have triggered most of us to a point where we've come out of ourselves and we've done things that we regret because we've been so pushed. But you've got to remember, when the narcissist is being evil, they're not pushed. They're just evil. We can't spot them. We can spot them now, yeah. Now that we're sovereign. Oh, yeah, we can spot them now that we're sovereign. Absolutely, we can. Yeah, if it smells like a rat, it is a rat. If you think something is off, it's off. I teach all the time, you know, the thing about like, I say that I don't like bacon. I don't know why I don't like bacon. My body doesn't like it. I haven't got to like search the internet for why I might not like it. I just don't bloody eat it. If we would be like that with people, we'd do a lot better. So as soon as a person feels off, if we would just like literally get away from them, we would do a lot better. But most of us don't. Most of us want to find out why we don't like them, why they feel off, and then we soon find out. It's that MF walks like a duck. If that MF walks like a duck, it is a duck. Absolutely. Like so many of us, like for so many people that I've worked with now, we'll all say, and I myself included, I knew something was off at the beginning, but I didn't know what it was. So I ignored it and I carried on. Why? Because the shiny object syndrome, right? Because the love bombing, the shiny object syndrome, the narcissist was pretending to be something. And like, I wanted that thing because they waved the shiny object in the love bombing that was a bit missing in my life, right? So we were exploited. We were manipulated. It sucks. It sucks, guys. It absolutely effing sucks. Anyone that's been through this is a fucking hero, because it's so hard. For most people, they will get on with their lives and have really great lives, you know, or just a little bit of challenges in relationships. I'm having a problem, you know, dealing with my husband because he puts his socks on the floor and doesn't do the washing, or something stupid. We've been through hell. Oh, it's so shiny. I wanted it too. It did suck. Yeah. But you know, like, you've got to be an absolute warrior to get through this. It's not normal. It's like, it's not everyone's experience. Most people are having like minor gripes about their partner. When you've been with a narcissist lover, for example, like, your stuff is like huge. So the trauma is huge. It's like so traumatizing. It's devastating. And the impact they can have on your life through smear campaigns, through discard, through what they'll try and take for you financially can be massive, including your kids, which is just unreal. So like, anyone that's been through this deserves, I think, a fucking government grant. You know what I mean? To like rebuild your life and be able to get a fresh start. If I ruled the world, I would give everyone that's been through narcissistic abuse like big grants to try and rebuild their life again. Because like, this kind of abuse is like war, but it's not recognized. It's not recognized. Like, I know that there is laws now about against coercive abuse, but I still don't think it's strict enough. Oh, my doggy just jumped on me. My doggy's got a puffer jacket on. Do you like this? This is Coco. She's still in her coat. Hello. She's never met a narcissist, luckily, because I don't have them in my life anymore. So luckily, she'll never know what one is. But they absolutely suck. And like, this is like the most soul destroying relationship there is out there, you know, because narcissists are psychopaths. They're completely psychopathic and sociopathic. So like, yeah, it takes a lot of recovery. Guys, by the way, my Sovereign program is 50% off still at the moment for Black Friday. So check it out if you want to. But email me, ellie@elliefrost.com, for the link, because there's a special link to get 50% discount on it. Beyond that, should you go no contact, it's a personal choice. Trust yourself. Get the tools you need, get the information you need, get the resilience you need, get the people around you if you can. Not all of us can. Like, building community after this is very challenging for a lot of us. Like, actually building friendships and relationships, trusting people again, trusting ourselves to trust people, not being too defensive. You know, I think that's probably the next phase of what I'm going to teach, is like, how do we actually build community and relationships after this? Because most of us are really defensive, really scared, really isolated, really cut off. And a lot of what I talk to my clients about after they've come out of the cycle, if they have gone no contact, is, you know, how do you rebuild and find people that are like you, that you actually want to connect with, and not go back into these cycles, and actually feel supported by community? What's missing in our world, guys, is community, by the way. Like, that's something that humans need, that is missing in our world. We haven't got community like we used to. So it's not just for people that have come out of narcissistic abuse. It's like everyone right now we're lacking community, especially since COVID. Narcissistic abuse is the closest thing to a perfect crime. It's a perfect crime. Honestly, John, if I had a say on it, it would be criminal. Absolutely, it should be criminal. Why our society tolerates narcissistic abuse is just beyond me. Because, do you know, like, what it does to a human being, narcissistic abuse, is on every level. You know, I talk about, like, my approach is multidimensional, which just means spiritual, physical, emotional, mental, and energetic, right? Because the abuse that happens is on every level. There's nothing like it. Yeah. So when you've been in this kind of warfare, you've been hurt spiritually, emotionally, mentally, physically, and energetically. You've been actually kind of violated on all and assaulted on all those levels. So why is that not treated as more severe than if someone hit you, or if someone, you know, assaulted you in any other way? It should be more, because on every level you've been hit, and often financially you've been hit. Even if the narcissist was providing for you by tearing you down, your ability to earn money changes, right? Because you haven't got your energy, you haven't got your confidence, you haven't got the things you need to thrive and make money, right? In this world, right, we've got to have our energy intact. We've got to be able to get up in the morning and focus, and you know what I mean? And when a narcissist is taking over your life, it affects you financially, because money and our finances and our work is still energetic, right? We need the energy for it. And if you're not in the right energy, your work suffers, your money suffers, your life suffers, right? And they absolutely invade your field. It is a crime. It should be a crime. It should be recognized. But the reason it's not a crime, I believe, is because it's inherent in our system. Because we've got some people in power that are heavily narcissistic. And so, like, they'd have to actually take down people who they might not want to take down. And that's probably why they don't treat it as a crime. They do recognize in a lot of countries coercive control. But I mean, it's not like, it should be treated as severe as if someone tried to kill you, because I think they do. If someone tries to destroy your finances, destroy your reputation, destroy your emotions and mental state, isn't that trying to kill you anyway? Maybe they haven't physically strangled you or shot you, but like destroying you on all those levels, financially, emotionally. I mean, you know, you've got to be so resilient to get up after that. We've had to be so resilient to get up after some of the things we've gone through. It's absolutely insane. So it should be a crime. Someone trying to destroy you financially should be absolutely sanctioned. Someone trying to destroy you emotionally, sanctioned. We're getting there as a world, but it's just taking time. It's taking time because it's so hard for victims to prove a lot of the time, because the people they're dealing with, narcissists, are so manipulative and so controlling. They can literally, you know, convince people that they're the innocent one. And we've got another problem on our hands. Like, if you tried to make it a crime, right, you'd have other people calling people narcissists that are not narcissists. So you'd have narcissists calling innocent people narcissists. And how would you deal with that? Because the thing with all of this is lack of proof. But you know, if people got assessed, I think it would work. Something has to shift. We're all waking up here though. Right, guys, I think I'm going to sign off. Thank you so much for coming on live. I think I'm going to just do more YouTube live so we can talk. Thank you so, so much for being here. Yes, they all project the narcissist into you. Yeah, they do. Exactly. So what the scary thing is, you know, the more sanctions there are, the more potential there is for innocent people to get bullied by narcissists and being called the narcissist. That's the challenge, right? Because more innocent people would be at risk. So what I think the actual solution is for what we're doing here, more people to wake up to what it is and have zero tolerance to it. I'm not telling you to go no contact if you're not ready, like I said at the beginning, but the less tolerance we've got to this shit, the better. I think the change has to come from the people, not from the government or the law, because as I say, like, if it gets sanctioned more, which I think it should, the challenge is more innocent people could be exploited by narcissists calling them narcissists. But if we wake up like we all are here, then actually we just don't tolerate narcissism. It's like, as soon as I see a bully, goodbye. As soon as I see like bad behavior, but again, what I was also, so this is where it's a paradox. What I was also saying was, we're in a culture that just throws people away so quickly. And when we've been through this kind of abuse, we can be too quick to get rid of people that are actually not that toxic and not narcissistic. So there's kind of, it's a really delicate thing, because I don't want this culture where we're not community. We want community. We need community. This is not about just cutting people out of your life and being on your own, because that fucking sucks. It sucks. We're meant to be together. We're meant to be united, right? We're meant to be a community. But what it does mean is having boundaries in place so that people can't treat you badly. Take care. See you in Sovereign. Yes, babe. Much love. Grammy Award performance playing the victim. Absolutely, John. They're all excellent at playing the victim, especially the covert ones, aren't they? They're just like crazy. Narcissists are master manipulators. You know, there was a thing I was watching the other day, and someone was asking about this woman about what a narcissist was, and she was saying grandiosity, blah, blah, blah. A narcissist is a spiritual fucking terrorist. morally corrupt, spiritually corrupt, and so manipulative, it will blow your mind. And like when you get out of a relationship with a narcissist, you start realizing, like, you will find out more things often about how absolutely outrageously corrupt they are. It's hard to imagine anyone could be as corrupt as they are. Like, you just don't. You're going to give them the benefit of the doubt, because we don't expect people to be so awful. But these guys are spiritually sick, literally spiritually sick. And they will go to all sorts of lengths behind your back to destroy you. And especially when you stand your ground and get in your power, they're going to try and hurt you. They're going to try and ruin your reputation. They're going to try and ruin your finances. They're going to try and ruin your friendships. They're going to try and ruin your sense of community, your support systems, right? This is a virus in our society. It's like a glitch in the fucking matrix. It is a problem. It's a huge problem. It costs people their lives. So many people don't. So there was a comment on the channel, actually, from someone who I really like, James. And he was talking about addictions and things. But, you know, a lot of narcissists might be addicts because they're so reckless. They don't care about consequences of anything. But a lot of victims are also addicts because they can't cope with the trauma. So we've got to have compassion. We've got to understand that, like, narcissists are addicts for different reasons than victims are addicts. And like, I think we have to have a lot more compassion for people who were so traumatized they can't cope and they turn to addictions. We project our empathy onto them. Exactly. It doesn't work. Exactly. We're projecting empathy on someone it doesn't exist. So when people say the narcissist is secretly tortured and in shame, that is bullshit. Narcissists wake up the day after they've done the worst thing to you, go to the gym, get their next source of supply and carry on with their life. You tell me how much shame and remorse they carry. Zero. The minute you're hearing this narrative about they're secretly tortured, they're secretly ashamed, they're secretly, you know, it's rubbish. Absolute rubbish. Look at their actions. Yes, have a covert neighbour doing this, right? Why some people never experience narcissistic abuse? They're lucky, my love. Why do some people never experience narcissistic abuse? Look, narcissists are predators. They will target anyone, but some people are more susceptible, right? If you've got childhood trauma, if you're highly empathetic, you're just more susceptible, right? But some people will never experience it, and thank God for that. It's absolutely horrendous. And it just means that they haven't given in, or they've smelt a rat and they've walked away quicker than other people. So if you've been through childhood abuse and trauma, you're going to be less, like, more tolerant to it, and probably let these people in your life a lot more than someone who hasn't. If you're very empathetic and compassionate, right, you're going to give people the benefit of the doubt a lot and tolerate it a lot longer than other people would. I was 57 before I knew they exist. It's mind-blowing. Yeah. I only understood narcissism in the last 7 years. And it finally made sense of my entire life. But I had to go through so many twilight zones of, like, weird shit happening to really finally get it. You know, like, so 7 years ago, I think, or just under that, I actually finally understood what narcissist was. They smirk. Oh, yeah, they do smirk. They love your pain. These people are so sociopathic and pathological. They get off on your pain. They want the trauma bond. They want to hurt you so bad you never forget them. They want to become the most important person in your life for the worst possible reasons. That reason being that they hurt you so much and you can't get over it, because then they can siphon your energy in the psychic realm. How gross is that? Vomit. I've actually been physically sick around the narcissist. He made me so sick. This was an ex of mine, that I just threw up, because I finally, like, saw the truth of it, and I just couldn't stomach it. And I'm not someone who's sick very often, but I vomited over it. So true. They actually enjoy hurting. Yeah, they do. They're masochists, especially the ones who love them. Yeah, because if you love them, you're going to hurt more. You see, they want you to love them. You're going to hurt more. And the thing with us is we try and fix them. We try and make excuses. I mean, how many excuses have I made for my dad or people in my life that were narcissists? I made so many excuses. Why? Partly cognitive dissonance. I didn't want to accept the truth. I couldn't put together, you know, the story I had in my head of who this person was and who they really were. I wouldn't accept it. So we make excuses for them. They want you to love them, because if you didn't love them, it wouldn't hurt so much. Yeah? If they didn't manipulate you into having intense feelings for them, it wouldn't trauma bond you. Oh, oh my God. I tried to fix her. Yep. In every way. Yep. Wasted energy and time. Yep. Because we care, right? And they play along with this game. When you try and fix a narcissist, they pretend they want to change. Let me tell you straight, narcissists do not want to change. They do not care in self-development. They do not care in changing. They like to keep you on the hook trying to fix them, because it keeps you invested in the relationship, and they can keep siphoning your energy. They don't want to change. They're not interested one little bit in it. They'll keep repeating the same behaviors. They don't sit at home reflecting. Like, you know, when we've done something, we think about it, like afterwards, like we reflect on it. And we're like, sometimes I've been doing this recently with something that I did recently. And I go over it in my head and I think, oh, I feel bad about that. Maybe I didn't do it right. You know, narcissists don't think like that. They don't at all. They don't want to change. That's why when a lot of the time when you call a narcissist, they don't actually care. They'll call you one back often, but they don't actually care. Whereas for a normal person, if you called them a narcissist or something like that, they would take it to heart. They might even go and see a counselor and say, look, I'm wondering if this is what I am. You know, we would really care about that idea. But narcissists think they're better than you. They're entitled to act how they do. They like what they do. It works for them. They know they're doing it. They know what they're doing hurts people. That's why they do it. They want domination, power, and control. This is what they run off. They're sick MFs. Really, really, really sick. Spiritually sick. Morally corrupt. A complete virus on our planet right now. And what we have to do is not... Like I said before, it's not the criminal sanctions that will change it, because we risk potentially innocent people being penalized. What we want to do is all raise our consciousness so that we don't tolerate it. If you're not ready to go no consent, or you can't at the moment, don't blame yourself. Just get the tools you need to be able to, you know, survive in this dynamic. But we have having less tolerance for their behavior. You can still be in contact and not tolerate certain things. If that looks like this, if you talk to me like that, I'm going to walk out the door. That's one way of setting a boundary. A boundary's always got a consequence. So it's not a threat. A boundary is a statement with a consequence. Now that consequence doesn't have to be, I'm going to completely cut you out of my life, but it does have to be, you know, something actionable. So if you continue to talk to me like that, I'm going to put the phone down. Your choice. You know, a consequence. That's what a boundary is. Let me know, guys, on the channel what you want me to talk more on. Like, I really want to give stuff that changes our lives, that makes us change our consciousness on the planet, that helps us build a better world that is not full of fucking narcissists, where people are getting abused anymore, because I'm sick of it. I'm sick of hearing it. Like, I'm sick of hearing how many awful things have happened to people that I love now, right? Because people that come into my world, I fall in love with, because like they're the most loving, kind, supportive people. So it's absolute bullshit that trauma causes narcissism, because I work with people who have been the most traumatized, who are the most loving people I've ever met. Master manipulators, puppeteers. Yep. Masters and one-man ship. Yep. Sick puppies. Really, really sick. Against humanity, against our human nature. Because actually, when we're not in any kind of fear, our nature is to love and be loved, right? We're so lovable. Hug yourself. We're so lovable. Remember, you're so lovable. You're so lovable. And what you want to do is love other people. That's what makes us happy. The more we love, the more happy we feel. You know, the less we love and the more we're at war, the worse we feel. Narcissists make you feel jealousy, anger, frustration, fear, all the negative emotions that take you further away from love, right? They're actually like the devil's work. That's what narcissists are. If you read the Bible, like it talks about them. They were the Pharisees. They were the people who like just literally just shut out the love. Some people, yeah, are more susceptible. That's right. Absolutely right. Yeah. some people are more susceptible, but they might not have just gotten, you know, narcissists are all over the planet, and it has been growing. It has been an epidemic. It's been getting worse and worse. That's why there's more people talking about it and teaching about it, I think, because as the darkness rises, the light gets stronger too. And gosh, the light will always win, right? We'll always win. But like there is a bit of a spiritual war going on where it's got out of hand. It's got out of hand, but we're here to change it and change the world and change our lives and live beautiful, loving, happy lives. We're so lovable. You deserve to love and be loved. You are a wonderful human being. God created you perfect. There is nothing wrong with anyone here. Nothing. And we matter. And how we feel matters. And what we want matters. Not just who we are, but what we want and need matters, right? The dreams you want, the life you want, the relationships you want, they all matter and you deserve to have them. That's what we're here to do. All right, my loves. Thank you so much for joining me live. I'm going to sign off and wish you the best Sunday ever.